So, welcome. Good evening, everyone. Today I want to paint a foggy forest, and I will always only use three colors: burnt umber, sap green, and titanium white. I put some colors on my palette. I primed the rock with 2 layers of white gesso. If you don't have white gesso, you can use titanium white. The tube is a bit hard closed. So I use my brushes from Da Vinci. It's school quality. Hi George, how are you? And I start with the background. The sky I paint in the light green. I mix the Sap Green with titanium white. And I dip with a nearly dry brush light the sky. The next layer will be some mountains. I mixed in a hint of burnt umber. I mix it in the same color as the sky is. I add some burnt umber and a bit more green. Hi Pam. George, did you too paint rocks? Have you painted some rocks? My brush is nearly dry and I dab into the wet paint to get some kind of mist. I add a bit of white, only a bit. I have to spray some water on my palette because here in my attic it's really warm at the moment and the paint dries really quick. I will use another embossing tool to hold it down. I add some kind of structure to the hills, to the mountains, that it looks not so flat. I will use a smaller brush. And to blend, I wipe the extra paint off my brush and start dabbing before it completely dries. You are painting reindeer rocks, cool. So we will add the next layer of hills, and I add into this mix a bit more of green. Which rock do you paint, George? I switch to my bigger brush. Oh, cool! Acrylic watercolor and starting to use gouache. Everything on a rock or generally on paper or a canvas? I hope your Monday was fine. It looks like I do Bob Ross. Yeah, you are right, Pamela. It looks a bit like Bob Ross. It's the same technique with painting some mist at the bottom. On rocks, you do watercolor on rocks? Did you prime the rock before before you use watercolor on them? I tried someday gouache on rocks, but it won't work. What I do now is I dab a bit into titanium white, not too much, just that the brush is has a bit titanium white on it, and I smooth the layer a bit out. I will add another layer with darker hills. I add more green and a bit of brown, because when I add only green it's very intense color. I tone it down a bit with brown. Yes, with a bit of Japanese. What is this Japanese? I only know Japanese ink. I know there is some primer for canvases out there, so that you can use watercolor on a canvas. Maybe I should call this video later Bob Ross technique on a rock painting. in between I clean my brush with water and then I wipe it enough that the bristles start to spread, so I can paint better some smooth mist. Ah, okay. This Japanese sounds like it is some kind of primer. There's a bad glare. So the rock looks at the moment. Maybe I have to add some angle here, that you can see it better. So I will add here another layer. I add more brown. Hopefully it's not too dark. And of course I add some green. Start it. George, which motifs do you like to paint? Are you more the landscape painter or do you like to paint animals? Hi, Natalia, I hope so. I learned Russian in the primary school and I'm not sure with the letters, and I hope it's called Natalia. And the rest I can't read. It's a bit ugly here at this point, but we will fix it in a minute. I add some white, just a hint. And here we have the mist. So sad that I forgot all the Russian letters and I can't read it. Ah, you try different styles. Cool. I have a hint of white and too much water. And I will fix this. Hi, Random Rock Paints. Oh, thank you. Thank you for watching all my videos. I have to fix up my dirty edges. Now I want to paint some evergreen trees, like Bob Ross did it, but not with the Bob Ross style. Here in the foreground I will add at first some green base, dark green base. I paint the green with a bit of titanium white into the sap green, because the sap green is a very translucent pigment, and it would have bad strokes if I would use it pure. Thank you, George. I will also add some brown. It's too light for me, I think. I have too much brown on my brush. I wipe a bit up and then I add a bit texture in the foreground. And I said in the beginning we need only 3 colors, but I think we will have to use some blue, ultramarine blue, because the green and the burnt umber together isn't that dark that I wanted. I will pick up my ultramarine blue, 1 second. My beloved ultramarine blue, it's really hard used. To save paint, there are such tools where you can fold your tubes and every bit of paint will come out. If someone is interested, I can have a quick look at this tool and then I can show you. So we need a smaller brush. I will lay this brush to my side. It's a script liner, and when the bristles are wet they are really pointed, and I need a brush with some shorter hairs. I will use this for the base of the trees, and when I add the details I will switch to the script liner. I add into my ultramarine blue some sap green and some burnt umber, and then we will have a really good dark green, bluish green. I have to add some spray water on my palette. And I have to be careful that there is a tip on my brush. I got blue on my finger. And I start to paint the trees with a vertical stroke. It's a bit too light. At the top of the tree I only add some depth here and there to suggest some branches. When my finger is between you and the painting, I'm sorry. When I'm concentrated, I forgot to keep the picture in view, the picture inside. Sorry. If you clean your brush and you wipe your brush, sometimes it can happen that there is some water on the metal thing, and during the painting it can roll into your paint, and then you have a watery paint. The trees don't have to be straight in a 90-degree. They are a bit angled because there is some wind. These trees have the branches a bit upwards to the sky. There are other trees where the branches pointing down to the ground. It's difficult. Sometimes the small brushes are too big. I go to my script liner and add some details. I will paint here in the foreground a really big evergreen. Yeah, it's really simple. It's a beginner tutorial because you only need a calm hand, a steady hand. Try to not to paint too symmetrical. The nature always have some gaps in such trees. I have to mix more paint. It's too blue, I think. And with this Sap Green, the translucent pigments, is here a great effect because you can see, you hardly can see it, there are some brush strokes, and because of this translucent, and it creates a really nice structure to my tree. I switched to my script liner and I add some details, because for the details the other brush is too thick. I want to add some trees here in the distance, and for this I have to add a bit of white into my tree mix. I hope that this is enough. I will paint the tree with the script liner because it's very small. And here in the distance we have very less details, just the general shape of the tree. I painted a bit darker because it's too light. And we need some other trees. It's too light, my mix. I have to darken them. Oh, thank you, Random Rock Paints. It's just the random stroke structure. I don't plan it. I just dab and let it happen. With watercolors, this would be very would be much easier, because you can let it flow, the paint. You can create a mist. I will add in the foreground, here's a harsh line, I will add some grass. I try to get a mix. Hi, Bigona. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. The brush works for you. Just let it happen and accept little accidents. With landscape paintings, you have the freedom that you can always say it has to be like this. It's nature. There are always little imperfect spots. If you paint animal portraits, especially animals like your cat or your dog, it has to be perfect because you have to create some. Oh, I don't know the word. You have to create one special animal, and if you look at the picture, you have to know him. You have to see, it's him or her. It's a bit difficult. The same thing is with human portraits. Chester is outside. Chester got his food and he runs outside. Oh, I don't can talk Espanol. I don't know a single word. I can switch to German if it helps. If you paint grass, just do not paint all grass in one direction. Paint it a bit random. I have to hold it a bit angled because there is a glare. I think this tree has to be a friend here. I go back to my dark green-blue mix. And I add a little friend. I think when the branches are hanging down, pointing to the bottom, the tree is a bit older. If the branches are pointing more to the sides or to the sky, the tree is a really young tree. Or it's another type of tree, another type of evergreen tree. We need some distant trees here, I think. Or something, an animal or something. I don't know. Maybe here. Some lighter trees. My real name is Annette. But you can also say Anna. It's the same for me. Here, with these little trees, I only paint horizontal strokes to suggest a tree. A small cabin. I will add some birds, some flying birds. Just hint of birds. I think I will use brown. I test the color. It's too dark. And I need a bit of mist. I watched Bob Ross as I was younger, and I always fall asleep. It's so relaxing. I always fall asleep. Yeah, Anna is okay. I called me Anna as a kid. Oh, okay, bye. Thanks for watching. I try always to paint an unequal number because I think it looks better if you paint everything in unequal numbers. Even the trees in the whole count is uneven. I think you should paint here some, I don't know, some lighter trees. Because it looks really naked. Thank you, George. And a bit angled tree because there is some wind and he pushes the tree to the side. I think they have to be a bit darker. I add more green to it. Yeah, I saved, Pamela, I saved your OD painting. It's on my computer. And if I found some time, I will do a speed painting video of it and will upload here on YouTube. I paint her cat with charcoal. Maybe some of you have seen it on Instagram or YouTube. No, YouTube. On Instagram and Facebook. If you look in the description of this video, you can find the links to this social media platforms. And if you want, you can follow me there too. There you see some pictures that I don't post here on YouTube. I will add with straight dabbing some grass, some more textured underground here. I just used the pure Sap Green. It's translucent, and when I can smear it a bit if it's still wet. Last month I painted, I believe, 3 cats. I did them all with pencils, and the best one is the last cat. It is with pastel pencils on a toned paper, and I really like how the colors pop out. So I think the painting is done. Yay, we finished a rock. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't, you can hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss any video. And I have here another primed rock, and I will paint here a night scene, a colorful night scene the next days. Yeah, I wish you all a really nice evening, and sleep well, and see you next time. Bye. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Okay, now I'm off. Bye.